New on CuriosityStream. How do you connect a 16th century potato to limitless energy production? Could Napoleon's toothpick have a direct link to a machine that predicts the future? And how can a 1700s conch shell chart a course to humans connecting their brains to the internet? James Burke's visionary series Connections returns for a new generation. Experience all new Connections. With monthly, annual, and bundled plans, find the one that works for you at curiositystream.com.
Did you miss your deadline to renew your Medicaid coverage? You can still send your completed annual review form to Healthy Connections Medicaid. You may be assigned to another health plan, but you can ask to come back to First Choice within 60 days of renewed Medicaid eligibility. It's your family. It's your choice. First Choice is the right choice. Renew and choose us. Visit selecthealthofsc.com/renew to learn more.
It's the pop culture field.
What's going on, all ye scallywags? Today you are tuned in to a new episode of the Pop Culture Field Manual Podcast, sitting right at the intersection of weapons, action, the military, and pop culture. Today you probably took a guess based off our amazing pirate accents that we are going to do an episode all about pirates. And before we do, my name is Cameron Fath, and you get to listen to my amazing co-host,
Israel Wright. Thank you for that amazing introduction, Cameron. Israel Wright, good to be here, former Green Beret. And folks, right at the beginning, I want to do this before we forget, because we always forget, and then we know that people stop listening after we do the question and the game.
Yep.
Folks, we have a YouTube channel called Shift Fire. We want to tell you about it. It's an exploration and appreciation of all things military culture. You may know us from the gameology stuff. We have our own channel now that's growing by leaps and bounds thanks to all of your loyal viewerships and subscription ships, called Shift Fire. Yeah.
Absolutely. Additionally, one thing we also want to add is if you guys want to support this channel, go ahead and look us up on Buy Me a Coffee. If you're feeling friendly, you're feeling generous, all your contributions go towards making this podcast even better than already is, because we know it is the best podcast on the planet, period. End of story. We hope you agree. But yes, buy me a coffee for all those who have contributed already. A very, very, very special thank you.
Yeah, thanks,
we really
everybody.
appreciate it. You got these new mics for us.
You guys got me my Tesla. Thank you.
Israel drives a
I
Tesla.
was really
now
in
because
great
we-
need of a Tesla.
Yeah,
now
with
I have
the
one.
tens of hundreds of dollars.
the tens of dollars
the
that
tens
we
of
make.
dollars that we make for this podcast. But anyways, if you guys want to support the channel, buy me a coffee. We really appreciate it. But further ado,
Yar, me mates. I said I had to do the intro because I wanted to do the voice, but yar, me mateys. It's do be the pirate episode where Cam and Izzy get to test out their best pirate impressions. I literally wrote that. Today we will discuss all things pirate, such as what's the deal with pirates? Why are they so popular in popular culture? Even though piracy has been around for thousands of years. What's the difference between a pirate and a privateer? Oh, I'm kidding. I'm like an Irish pirate now.
Yeah, it's
How
not
come
good.
there are so many remakes of Treasure Island and so on and so forth? Show me your protein! Show me your booty! Your protein! I thought we were going to say, show me your protein.
show me your protein. Yeah, dude, you need to work on that pirate accent. It's like, are you Irish? Are you a pirate? Or
I slowly, everything tightens up.
pirate,
It's like ratcheting up.
Yeah,
like,
it's getting
and then I
worse
just
and
have it
worse
in here.
as you're going. But anyways, pirates are badass. That is not news.
No.
Yeah, I mean, pirates have been around since, before my time. That's
As long as people have been able to sail on the water, there have been other people trying to hurt or rob those people on the water.
because raping, stealing, and pillaging has been around for millions of years.
Look, land doesn't have a monopoly on raping, stealing, and pillaging. The
No, it
water, that's where the real raping, stealing, and pillaging
it's
happens.
called Sea Vikings.
It's Sea Vikings,
The Vikings
yeah.
of the sea.
Well, wait, doesn't the name Viking originally come from like to Vik, which is like to rape or something like that?
I don't know.
I think that the I think that's where the name Viking came
That's worth
from.
the Google. So you keep talking while I figure that
Well,
out.
I got some fun facts. I just wanted to do a little bit of like historical research. very little. I literally went to one site and I found out this. A pirate is a robber who travels by water. Though most pirates targeted ships, some also launched attacks on coastal towns. We often think of pirates as swashbuckling and daring or evil and brutish, but in fact, most of them were ordinary people who had been forced to turn to criminal activity to make ends meet. And I really think that's legitimate back in the day. I don't know if there's much of an excuse like I had to turn to a life of crime, but back then, quite possibly.
Okay, just to answer your question. This is what I got from history.com. The name Viking came from the Scandinavians themselves from the Old Norse word vik, which is bay or creek, which formed the root of Vikinger, pirate.
Oh.
So they are
So
pirates.
it doesn't mean rape, but it does mean pirate eventually.
I don't know
Okay.
where you got that from.
I thought to Vike was like an old ancient
Vike.
Norse word. Like
Yeah,
to,
we're going to go back into the city and, Vike.
Yeah.
Let's go Vike.
Nah, you want to get some Vike? Gonna get your Vike on? Yeah.
I don't like that.
Bunch of
Anyways.
hogger-slogging Vikers.
Okay.
Thousands of pirates were active from 1650 to 720, though these years are sometimes known as the Golden Age of piracy. Famous pirates from this period include Blackbeard, Henry Morgan, William Captain Kidd, Calico Jack, Rackham, and Bartholomew Roberts.
Don't forget Captain Jack Sparrow.
Oh, of course, Captain Jack Sparrow, yeah. That's where the Pirates of the Caribbean came from.
Exactly.
The Caribbean.
Based off a true story.
Based off a true story.
Yeah.
Oh, man. We have so many good candidates today to talk about, man. I'm really excited for this episode.
Honestly, I love pirates. Okay. Fun fact. Fun fact.
You're a pirate.
No.
Oh, okay.
Because I only rob on the ground, not on the sea. But when I was a small boy, my literally
4 years ago?
Yeah, 4 years ago, before I just hit puberty. My room was pirate themed.
Oh.
From like age 6 or 7 to when I was like 13, 14.
Nice.
My room was pirate themed.
That's
Like,
awesome.
it was.
Did you have like flags up like the
No,
Jolly Roger?
my mom painted the walls as like a treasure map.
Oh,
And then I had
wow.
like I had a giant wooden bed that almost like was made look like a mast of a ship.
What?
And then I had a toy chest that was like a treasure chest.
Oh, man,
And there was a bunch of like anchors and novelty like ship in a bottle.
Man.
Like it wasn't just like a kid's room. This was like my
what a great
mom's an
childhood.
interior designer and like nowadays, but like back then went full fledged. Like it wasn't like a cheesy pirate room. It was
Yeah.
like I walked into the set of Hook.
No wonder you're such a well-adjusted human being. You know,
Yeah.
you had such a stable
That's what happens.
life growing up. I never stayed in one place for very long to have a pirate room.
You didn't have a strong father figure.
And no strong father figure, no strong mother figure, just no strong figures at all. Just a bunch of weak figures around. Just a limp figures laying all over the place. It's like a weird mortuary. I lived in.
Anyways, I don't care about your childhood.
care
What I
about
care about are some of the greatest pirate movies that have ever been released on the silver screen.
Yes.
Is it the silver screen? Why
Yeah.
why is it called the silver
Because
screen?
it used to be black and white movies, the silver screen.
But wouldn't that be gray?
The gray screen. Yeah, but gray doesn't sound as mystical as the silver screen.
The silver screen.
The platinum screen.
That platinum sounds really cool.
Platinum screen. We should change it. We should
change
take it back.
Petition. Sign. Okay, under the Instagram of PCFM podcast, sign the petition to change
Sign
the
the
name
petition.
of
Silver
Silver
Screen.
to Platinum Screen. But hey, without further ado, what movie do you want to talk about?
Let's just go for the big one first, though the obvious one that's on everyone's mind these days. Nate and Hayes, the 1983 pirate movie judged by Tommy Lee Jones. Yes, I know you were all thinking it because that's the one that I saw. This is one of those movies. So Tommy Lee Jones, you go back and you look at these actors they've always seemed old. Like Morgan Freeman's been 78 for the last 78 years. Like he's always been old. I don't know when but you look at Tommy Lee Jones and he's like in his 30s, like early 30s, late 30s.
Oh,
but
man.
yeah, Nate and Hayes, pirate movie from the 1983. We don't have to talk about it long, the 1983. But I remember seeing this. It was one of those like when you're sick and you can't go to sleep, so your parents let you stay up late and you just watch movies that come on at like 2 a.m. on ABC. Yeah, great movie. Tommy Lee Jones is the pirate, Nate, I think. And then there's this other guy, Hayes. And basically, like, Hayes is like a good dude. He's like a missionary, and him and his wife are doing missionary work. And then pirates come. And then Nate's kind of a scallywag, but he
That
ends
was
up
weird,
helping
man.
him
I
out.
thought you're like, him and his wife were doing missionary, and I was like, what?
And then Nate comes in. It's a porno,
like, this
basically.
Is a weird
This is
movie.
a way
I
to-
was like, there's a movie called Pirates for that, right?
Yeah. That's right.
But I'll be a side note. When you said Tommy Lee Jones, you know how like I don't know actors?
Yeah.
And, like I've been learning my best, but I was like, I didn't know the drummer from Motley Crue was in this movie.
Tommy Lee.
And I was like, honestly, he looks like a pirate.
Yeah, he is.
He is. He's covered in
about-
tattoos and he's weird looking.
Yeah, he's all gangly and
yeah,
stuff.
and I was like, I looked it up and I was like, oh, that's Tommy Lee Jones. I'm forgetting the Jones.
You were 3/4 right on the name,
Three-quarters
Tommy Lee Jones. But it's a fun time because it's Tommy Lee Jones is kind of he's a scoundrel, but then he kind of ends up having a heart of gold. He ends up helping out this young couple who get caught up in these kind of pirate schemes and stuff like that. And what I remember is like he has his crew, like Tommy Lee Jones has his crew, and they're all kind of a cast of characters, which are really cool. The movie starts after the events of the movie, and then it like jumps back. So it starts with them on this island, and they're trying to get this thing, and like his whole crew dies. And he's like captured by the guy who ends up being the villain in the movie. But then the beginning of the movie is, then it jumps back before those events, and his whole crew's alive. So it's this weird kind of Black Widow thing where his all these guys are going to die, and like you spend the whole movie like building relationships with them and empathizing with them and stuff, and that like, oh, they're all going to die anyway. But it's Tommy Lee Jones, and he's like in jail, and he's telling the story of how he met Hayes, the younger guy, and then at the very end, he's about to be hung. He's walked out to the scaffolding, and it's the classic like the hangman is there with the hood on there, and the guy takes off his hood, and it's the young guy and his wife is there, and they break him out, and they run out and they escape, and then they go to be pirates and stuff. So Nate and Hayes, the most famous pirate movie of all time. That's all I wanted to say.
Okay, let's talk about the real Pirates movie.
Yes.
And from my generation,
yes,
not your generation, Pirates of the Caribbean.
It's been going. It's probably 2 generations in right now because they've been going on for a while.
Yeah, I think there's 6 or 7 of them, right?
Yeah, there's 5 of them.
There's 5.
Dead Man's Chest was the last one, right? Tell No Tales. Dead Man Tell No Tales.
I thought there was the
Dead Men Have No Chests. Yeah.
No, that's the third of the trilogy. No, that's the third one.
There's Pirates.
So there's the Curse of the Black Pearl.
Curse of the Black Pearl.
Then there's the
second one.
the one with Davy Jones.
Yeah, World's End is the third one.
World's End is the third one. And
Stranger Tides is not.
Black Pearl, Dead Man's Chest.
Dead Man's Chest. Okay, that's Dead Man's Chest.
At World's End.
At World's End.
And then there's the one after that nobody remembers. And then there's the one
on Stranger Tides.
Stranger Tides.
On Stranger Tides.
Okay.
And then there's the one at the Fountain of Youth.
Was that Stranger Tides?
That's Dead Men Tell No Tales.
Yeah, Dead Men Tell.
That's the 5th. That's the last one.
Yeah.
I hated the fact that they got rid of Orlando Bloom for the 4th one. I was like, this movie's not worth watching.
They were a good team. Him, Keira Knightley, and Orlando Bloom were a good team.
They shouldn't have separated, but then they came back in the 4th or 5th. Or the 5th one, the end
yeah,
of it.
Sort of,
But I
like
was
his
yeah,
son,
at the
whatever.
very end, just a nice little motif, and I was like,
daughter.
that's fucking stupid. But,
The first one to me was my favorite one.
Yeah, my favorite at World's End.
Oh, that was your favorite.
That was like the culmination because there was like big pirate ship fights and the whole the rule book of the pirates, and like he's like, hey dad, his dad's the keeper of the
from frickin' Gimme Shelter.
Isn't he like an Aerosmith or something?
Stellan Skarsgård?
No, not Aerosmith. Frickin', you guys are gonna kill us. Yes, let us know in the comments. I know you're yelling at your radio right now. He's on the frickin'. He modeled his character loosely after Keith Richards from I Can See the Name. Ooh, when you give me a shelter. Oh my gosh, Keith! I'm googling it right now. You guys
I will tell you what I think about.
You guys are already way ahead of me.
I didn't know that the guy that plays Davy Jones also plays Lord Voldemort in Harry Potter.
Rolling Stones. I'm a dork.
Yeah, he's some musician.
He's like one of the historical. I'm
not saying he's just like he's just stupid.
He's just some
he's
musician.
Just a stupid low-life
dumb stupid musician.
No, he's real big. He's really big. But yeah, honestly, Pirates of the Caribbean is kind of like my staples of my childhood because I'm still young.
Yeah,
so
man.
It's like that's what I came up on doing. So anything like that is like the pirate movie for me, and it was really Like The Curse of the Black Pearl was like awesome. Like I still go back and I watch them. They're still super entertaining.
That one, what I really liked about that one, which I like about all, like I think really good pirate movies, is the ship to ship combat.
Yeah.
Is done well.
It
you
is
know what I
done
mean?
well.
Like you to think about it back in the day when like you had to
Terrifying.
really and you had to maneuver and you had like different gun positions. You had to like it's hard to dodge. You had to like it's very slow
And like
it's very
some ships were faster than others.
Yeah,
and
some had
could
more
turn
guns
on
and
a
less.
dime.
Yeah, exactly. So you had to know not just your ship and how to maneuver it, but then the other guy's ship, what could they do? You had to outthink each other and stuff.
Not to mention mounting someone else's ship with like
raiding it or something.
Raiding a ship. Like what happens? Like you see the ship when they come close enough to board.
Yeah.
It's like what happens if you miss the ship? Like you just go overboard and you're dead.
And you get smushed in between the two. I'm sure that happened.
You get smushed, but then it's like what happens if the battle's over and it's like you survive, but you're just stranded in the middle of the ocean and you're going to be attacked by sharks because sharks would follow the ships because they would dump the trash.
They haven't killed you or raped you or taken you prisoner. They just dump you
brutal,
overboard.
Yeah, pirates were brutal back in the day.
Dude, brutal. Not a good life.
No,
like not a fun life.
And you know what? Interesting fun fact, and it might be true, it might not be true. But when I went in 6th grade to outdoor ed, which was they would mandatory send you camping for a week.
Oh, I remember that.
Some pirates, I heard this from one of the accounts, could have been complete bullshit. But some pirates would wear eye patches even though they had nothing wrong with their eyeball, and the reason they did this is because obviously night vision wasn't a thing back then. So they would cover an eye, make it completely dark, so when they went underneath and it was pitch black, they'd lift it up and it would be more sensitive.
So they'd have the night vision already.
So it would be like the eye would be more adjusted to darkness. It would be able to see in darkness, so they would just transition to the dark eye when they'd go underneath. So it was kind of like a natural night vision. It was easier to see underneath, and I tried it, and you're like, yeah, it's kind of true.
Yeah. And that's the thing that like we're not going to get too much into it, but like the history versus pop culture.
Yeah.
Like how they dressed, how they lived, the eye patch thing, the peg leg thing, like all that stuff. It's like, that was all was out. A lot of that came from history, like the peg leg and the hook arm and all that kind of stuff.
And it's like you had a good, it came from history. Hook arm, peg legs were real. And you had, not to mention the weaponry back there is like a good mix between like we're just inventing like the matchlock and the flintlock pistols and shit, and then but sword or clubs and melee weapons were like still really big a thing.
Very prominent.
We learned from doing the lethal antiquities that some of these black powder guns
ain't all that.
Like the
blunderbuss. Yeah,
that was such a disappointment. I mean, I'm sure they would like make it a way.
Yeah, we had
gun.
kind of a weak charge, not a lot of gunpowder, but still, I mean, bunch of BBs. I'm sure it'd be annoying. Well, if you get 10 of those in a row, that might cause some havoc.
Not to mention getting constant seawater in it and like not,
spoilage. I'm sure was a big concern.
The
like
infection from like having any scratches back there. Like if you got a splinter, like you're fucked.
Yeah, you're done. You're basically just jump overboard now.
And scurvy and and
a lot of like I heard that like a lot of those guys, they would bring like things like lemons and stuff. They would bring those things. They found that out, after a while.
I can't
You scurvy scoundrels. All the scoundrels who had scurvy.
You telling me I can't like eat, smoked ham for 7 months straight?
Only smoked ham and fish,
and jerky and fish and all that. But Pirates of the Caribbean, that's like the staple. I think when you hear pirate movie, everyone nowadays like, Pirates of the Caribbean.
Yeah, exactly. I think even if you don't like pirate movies, you can name at least one pirate movie, which is Pirates of the Caribbean. Yeah. And Johnny Depp that was such an iconic character, Captain Jack Sparrow. If anything, he's the biggest character lead actor ever because he's always a character. He always plays some sort of quirky character.
You are the worst pirate I have ever seen, but you have heard of me. That's a good. Anyways, man, let's move on to another one. I wanted to talk about which I just wrote it down. Where'd it go? Hook.
Oh yeah, man.
Talking about like lighthearted pirate movies.
Yep.
And I think Hook was awesome just because it was a kind of like a turn or like a different perception of like
the classic story,
classic Peter Pan
story,
which we expect from Disney.
Yep.
Was it a Disney movie?
Steven Spielberg, it was a Disney movie. I think.
It was a Disney movie? It was made by Disney?
Yep.
Okay.
Steven Spielberg, Robin Williams,
But it was Spielberg.
Yeah,
So
Senior Spielberg.
I like how they took the original story, which you expect, and it, like they introduced it from a different perspective.
Yep.
Which I think was cool. Like Peter's all grown up and he's completely forgotten.
Peter Banning.
Yeah, Peter Banning now. And
Yeah,
he's addicted
Dustin
to his
Hoffman
cell
is
phone.
Hook. Yeah. Yeah, he's addicted to work. Like he's all grown up and he like doesn't hang out with his kids.
Yeah.
He neglects his son, stuff
Yeah,
like
and
that.
it's just like his childhood. He was known for being a kid. Like
Yeah.
that was his thing. It's like
never growing up.
You
That was
grow
his whole
up.
thing is I'm never going to grow up.
He's like, I grew up.
And he grew up, yeah.
He grew up and he forgot everything.
Yep.
But I actually rewatched that movie a couple months ago with my fiance, and she loved it. And I forgot how awesome the movie is.
Yeah, Rufio.
Yeah, Rufio.
Rufio.
And
Yep.
there's the cool thing about it is like, Peter Pan is such like a child's movie, but this is still an adult friendly movie because they
Yeah.
fight and they kill and they like,
Yeah, and it's like adult themes as in like
I'm going to make your kid call me dad.
yeah, fatherhood, right?
Yeah.
Because that's how he tries to get him, not by like directly killing him, which he does try to do, but by trying to steal his son, you know? And so he realizes the value of his family, who he's been neglecting like his whole life, you know?
Yeah, it's a good theme. I like it.
Yeah,
I
that's
like
what-
the character development, like him, like they're sitting at the table with all the wild boys, and
Yeah.
they're all eating. Are you gonna eat that? And there's nothing in front
Yeah,
of
the
him.
never food.
Yeah, the never food. And he's just like, you just have to imagine.
Yep.
Just imagine. And then all of a sudden, there's a giant plate of food, and the
Yep.
food fight happens. And
Yeah, the food fight, and then the insult,
Yeah,
the
the
insult fight between him and Rufio when he starts.
you play ball like a girl.
Yeah.
Wrong movie.
Oh yeah.
Wrong movie. That's the fucking Sandlot.
Oh, so doesn't
I
he
thought you
say
were gonna
something
pick that
like?
up.
You hit like it's something like he gets better. He's like substitute math teacher,
Yes,
like
it's-
cow derriere in your ear, cow derriere. Yeah, mung tongue.
Yeah,
Yeah,
that's
you mean creed
Fart
rude.
smelling.
Yeah, pack of pre-chewed food, dude. You man, you stupid man, and he flusters him.
man. He's beating Rufio.
Yeah, and like what's her Jamie Lee Curtis or Julie Roberts is Tinkerbell.
Oh, yeah,
and then
and
she
she
like
loves
She
Peter.
loves him. She's loved him like her whole life.
That was a weird thing, and I was just like, well, how
Yeah.
that's a weird relationship.
Did you love him when he was like a little boy? Like, because
Yeah.
you're a fairy and presumably
You're,
you're
like, fully
thousands of
grown.
years old. Yeah.
Fucking
Weird,
pedo.
weirdo robbing the cradle.
Yeah, we know what you're getting at. We know.
Weirdo Julia Roberts.
Grow up.
Julia Roberts is a weirdo.
Yeah, she should have grown up too.
She did literally grow up.
Yeah, literally. Full size.
Doug
real-
Jones is in that. My buddy Doug Jones, who I'm going to name drop all the time, every chance I
Doug
get.
Jones?
That was one of
Cool
his first. You can't really see him, but that was one of his first roles, or like first major movie roles.
What
and
do
stuff.
you do?
He was a pirate.
This pirate.
And then wait, Bob Hoskins as Smee.
Shmee.
Yeah. I choose Smee. Don't try to stop me, Smee. Try to stop me, Smee. Try to stop me, Smee. I'm committing suicide, Smee. What are you doing?
That's a classic pirate movie, dude.
Yeah, classic pirate
It's
movie.
really good. Go watch Hook.
Go watch
while you're
Hook,
driving.
and also watch The Ice Pirates. And then the room was quiet and crickets sounded. Ice Pirates is a movie from 1994, and it's one of the most ridiculous movies you'll ever watch. If you like vintage, classic 80s kind of nostalgia movies that are really dumb but also funny, Ice Pirates, it's just ridiculous. It came out in 1984. It's got Ron Perlman, Angelica Houston, I forget the name, Robert Urich, who nobody knows, but he was a big guy in the 80s. But it's like space. It's basically space pirates,
Is
right?
Ron Perlman's in Spice?
Ron Perlman, yeah.
Oh, man.
Ron
Yeah,
Perlman's
he
in
was
Ice
in
Pirates.
young
Ron
still
Perlman.
giant. Still
Angelica
giant.
Houston, man, she's a very respectable woman in this movie. She's one of the pirates, but it's basically like it's space and ice. Water is the most valuable resource in the galaxy, and so ice is like a commodity now. And so these guys are ice pirates. They steal ice and stuff. Yeah, and they're scallywags and stuff. And then Robert Urich's character gets involved with this young princess, and then they get captured and they have to pose as eunuchs, and they have like these blonde wigs. You'll have to look it up. And they have these robots that they're like bumbling robots, that help them out. Some are butlers, some are warriors. At the very end, they have to go to this one mysterious planet where there's supposed to be all this water, but it's like there's a time distortion field around it. So them and the bad guys are fighting each other, but they're accelerating through time. So like they get these long beards and these giant, like there's a black dude, his friend, he gets this giant fro that just keeps growing. It's like 5 feet tall. It's the most ridiculous thing ever. She has a kid. kid,
screenshots
and
of
then the
it.
kid in the midst of the battle grows up and then starts fighting for them and saves the day. It's so great.
I'm
Oh,
looking at
man.
screenshots of this, and I'm like, what in the hell is
so
this?
crazy, man. I mean, there's so much about it that it's obvious. Oh, he has a football player. Yeah, big famous football player. I forget his name, but there was a lot of football players in movies back then.
There was. Yeah,
But
right
anyway,
downtown.
good times, Ice Pirates. If you like the ridiculousness of 80s movies, it is a classic 80s movies. So
I will
thank you
have
for
to check that out.
giving me
I was
chance
looking
to-
at screenshots of it, and like,
It's
it
so
looks
dorky.
ridiculous.
It's so dorky.
It looks so ridiculous. I don't know if I'm gonna be able.
And obviously, pirates and 80s movies, there's probably a lot of inappropriate jokes.
Oh, totally.
Inappropriate humor and stuff
full
like that.
areola probably in the
Yeah,
80s, and
lots
it's PG.
of areolas. Just all
It's
the
just
areolas all
PG.
over. Its other title was called Space Areolas.
Space areolas. That's all right. That's one I will watch. But moving on from that ridiculousness, I don't know why I'm on such like a Disney kick right now.
Hey, that's all right.
I've been watching a lot of Disney Plus just because obviously all the Star Wars things on there.
And they have all the classic movies on.
They have all the
So that's
classic
probably
movies.
the biggest draw for me for the Disney Plus channel.
Yeah. But honestly, my favorite, I'll put this in a category as my favorite Disney movie to ever exist, just so happens to be a pirate movie.
Wow.
And it's not Pirates of the Caribbean. Treasure Planet.
Treasure Planet.
Treasure Planet. Have
I've
you
never
seen it?
I've seen the first 15 minutes.
Dude, it's awesome.
Yep.
It's awesome when he's got like the hoverboard and he's like going through the canyon and everything.
And it's based off of Treasure Island, the famous novel.
But it's in space.
Yeah, but it's a planet. It's a whole planet.
It's definitely my favorite Disney movie because they like explore like death and like there's murder in it and like I think it was just so entertaining.
Yeah.
Entertaining.
Entertaining.
Entertaining. I thought it was really entertaining. It's like, okay, so you have this young boy and obviously. Yeah, so he doesn't have a father. It's just him and his mom runs this inn, and they come across this one like pirate running from the cyborg.
Yeah,
he's coming, and
cyborg pirates.
Yes, cyborg, and he gets this like map. It's like this little ball thing that shows map, and they're like, okay, well,
it's like a projector thing.
Yeah, it's like a big projectile, and
Yeah.
they're like, okay, well, we got to chase this. So the mother lets the kid go to like the spaceport. And they find a ship and captain and whatnot to go like discover this map, and turns out that like the captain is actually the cyborg that he was running from. And they try to do a mutiny and take over, and they go to this treasure planet, which was like, it's really cool. They're trying to find this guy's treasure, and it's like treasure planet. It's actually a whole planet that's treasure, and the map was the only thing. So this is why the cyborg wants it, because he wants the access to this other pirates. I'm explaining this terrible.
No, you're
But
not. No, I'm listening.
There's this original pirate, big old treasure, right? Put it in a planet because he didn't want anybody to take it, and he sealed it. And the only way to get in it is the key, which is also a map. So you need this little ball thing to access, because there's this giant portal thing that opens up with the key, and then you go in and there's the planet, and it's like, cool, that's awesome.
Nice.
So the whole thing is trying to get there, and the cyborg ends up having since the kid lacks a father figure, he kind of steps up and like takes him underneath his wing and starts getting feelings for the kid, not in that type of
Is
way.
this Long John Silver?
No.
No, it is Long John Silver.
Yeah.
Version of it, yes.
Okay.
Yeah, so the kid is underneath him, and he kind of gets feelings for that, like it's his son. And
The
then,
kid's
like,
underneath him, and he starts getting feelings for him.
not in that way.
Okay,
But he is not the captain. There's an actual real captain on the ship,
okay.
but he's like posing as
he's
a
posing
cook.
as the captain. Okay.
No, he's posing as a cook.
Oh, okay.
The cyborg is, and the kid is like the cabin boy. So he's like
Yeah.
the cabin boy and the cook. They like work together, and he's really hard on him, and he's like teaching him things like knots and how to do stuff. And he's like, "There you go, Jimbo."
Ah, nice.
And so he ends up getting like sees the kid as like his son kind of thing, and he's like trying, when he finally commits the mutiny. Like, obviously, the kid's trying to fight him, and he's like, I don't want to, hurt you, Jimbo. And then at the end, they, like, take off and whatnot.
Nice. Oh, Joseph Gordon-Levitt. Oh, okay, I didn't know. Oh, Emma Thompson. I'm looking at the IMDb here. John Silver. Yeah, John Silver.
It's my favorite Disney movie.
That's cool, man.
Yeah.
I
It's
really...
old.
I'll talk about, since we're talking about Treasure Island, I looked it up. There were at least 16 different adaptations of the Robert Louis Stevenson book Treasure Island that were
book.
made into movies. Yeah, it was originally a book. 1883, I think, is when it was published. And one of my favorite childhood movies is Treasure Island, but it's the 1990 version with Charlton Heston and a young Christian Bale. Christian Bale's been acting since he was a little kid. Did you ever heard of Empire of the Sun?
Yes.
Yeah, Empire. He was the little kid in that one. That's the Steven Spielberg movie. But anyway, Christian Bale is Jim Hawkins. Charlton Heston is Long John Silver. Really well done. Charlton Heston. I'd call him Charlton from my cold dead hands Heston. Really good stuff. They even take dialogue from it and stuff like that. And Christian Bale, they get to make it to the island. Charlton Heston turns out to be a bad guy, but he's kind of got a bit of a heart of gold. Jim Hawkins has like a coming of age story. I liked it because it's more grounded. They tried to make it like a historical with like the costumes and the sets and the seafaring nature of it all.
Young Christian Bale.
Yeah, young Christian Bale, man. Really. Anyway, that's my favorite version. That and Muppet Treasure Island, I guess. But
Dude, I haven't seen this movie in a long time.
Yeah,
I know the book's really long though.
It's
a big book, right?
Oh yeah, I've never read the book, but
it's like that and Moby Dick.
Yeah, Moby Dick.
Are they pirates? Or are they hunters?
They're just seafaring.
They're seafaring.
They're just hunting. Yeah,
they're just scallywags.
They're going after him. Yeah,
nothing pirate about them.
But yeah, Treasure Island, a 1990 version. If you wanted like a solid version of the movie, I'd say that's a good one to go to. But like that's been made so many times because I think it's just a classic, iconic pirate story. You know?
Yeah,
that's like,
no. Well, I mean, we've been talking about classic pirates. What about modern day pirates? Huh?
Modern day pirates,
like Somali pirates.
Somali pirates,
yeah, they come up on you in a little dude. It's like it's so weird. Like pirates used to have giant ships with the Jolly Roger flying, and they're like pirates. But now it's like,
Did you miss your deadline to renew your Medicaid coverage? You can still send your completed annual review form to Healthy Connections Medicaid. You may be assigned to another health plan, but you can ask to come back to First Choice within 60 days of renewed Medicaid eligibility. It's your family. It's your choice. First Choice is the right choice. Renew and choose us. Visit selecthealthofsc.com/renew to learn more.
Wells Fargo presents one of the surest ways to grow your money. A Wells Fargo CD account, where you can earn a 5.00% annual percentage yield on an 11-month term with a minimum opening deposit of $5,000. Visit a Wells Fargo branch or wellsfargo.com/CD rates to open a CD account and start growing your savings with us.
Wells Fargo Bank, N.A., member FDIC.
you get these skinny
Little
dudes.
motorboats.
Yeah, you get these skinny dudes in
Fight 'em off
in
with
a tiny
hoses.
fight them off with hoses and mounted ARs on a cruise ship.
Yeah.
It's so weird what pirates are now. I think it's just pop culture has painted them this way because piracy is just theft on the sea.
Right, exactly. That's piracy.
So, it's piracy and like it's
or
crazy.
downloading BitTorrents of movies.
Yeah, totally. That's piracy as well. Guilty. Just kidding. I'm not admitting my guilt in it. My guilt in anyway.
I will never admit to anything.
Yeah, but no, like movies like Captain Phillips.
Captain Phillips, 2013, Tom Hanks, really good one, based on a true story.
Yeah, based on a true story.
Something that actually happened. And Barkhad, I'm the captain now, Abdi.
I am the captain
That's the
now.
guy, the main dude, who was actually Somalian. Like, he was living in the States, but his family was originally from Somalia.
Yeah.
So it's a little close to home. But yeah, really good one. Like, it's crazy. It's just crazy because it was a true story, man.
Yeah, not to mention the military application that went from the SEALs taking the
like
shot.
a textbook.
Yeah, textbook.
Like everything went well. Sometimes these operations don't go well, but the Navy SEAls end up coming in and they do Amy has I'm telling Amy the story because they capture him and they end up getting off the main boat and then onto like a little emergency boat thing that's like encapsulated. It's fully enclosed. For like emergencies and stuff, and they're out there, they're trying to negotiate. They think they're negotiating, but SEAL Team 6 is actually getting set up for an ultimate sniper shot, where they have 3 snipers and they have to wait for all 3 of the dudes to be in the perfect position. At the very end of the movie, they're all there and they snipe them all at the same time. Because if they get one of them and they don't get the other one, they'll just kill
they
Captain
have to do it.
Phillips.
So they took 3 shots, right?
3 shots, yeah.
Took 3 dead
simultaneously.
pirates, at the same time. Not to mention the shots were taken from another ship.
From one moving ship to another moving ship.
So it's not like, so you have 2, it's not like the sea, everything goes up and down at the same time. It's like you have a tide over here, you have a tide over here. So that's a very impressive shot.
All,
so it's like as you're going down, the target could be going up, and you have to like And it could be changing because you don't. It's like, and you have not to mention you have to read the wind. You have to do all your corrections. So that was a very impressive shot that those dudes took.
What a harrowing event! Movies like that, I'm glad that they exist because it's like you almost if you heard the story, you wouldn't believe it. Yeah, and also they like piracy's still a thing, very much a thing these days.
And modern day piracy. I kind of want to go into the military side of things now. It's like, how is piracy being combated, right? And obviously the not so military branch, but still a military branch, the Coast Guard, they're totally a military branch.
Awesome,
they actually have some really, really cool special operation force teams in the Coast Guard. I think those are worth noting because did you ever see that video of it's a GoPro footage of a dude. Literally, there's like this cartel submarine, and it's like floating, and
submarine?
This dude is like on this fast boat, and he jumps onto the submarine and like jumps on and opens the hatch and has like a Glock in his hand. He's like, "Fucking open up!" And like he jumps onto a moving submarine that's like up top, and he opens the hatch up and tries to stop it. And that dude, I think, was part of this. The Coast Guard Special Operations. So like
cool.
you have the Deployable Operations Group. Which is what is the segment of the Coast Guard SOF, and underneath the DOG, if you will, the DOG has multiple different units. There's like the MSST, which is the Maritime Safety and Security Teams. You got like the MSRT, which is the Maritime Security Response Teams. So pretty much like if I think that if the SEAL team wasn't the one responding to the Somalia crisis or to that crisis, it would be one of the Coast Guard teams. But they like specialize in anti-piracy, and they do anti-terrorism, both domestic and international. So yeah, these guys are probably the coolest thing about the Coast Guard.
Nox noctis est nostri. The night is ours.
The night.
Ooh, that's a good saying.
It is. It's
almost as good
cool.
as we mostly come at night. Mostly.
Yeah, we mostly come at night.
First team.
Same here.
Really?
Bazinga!
That's awesome.
Yeah.
That's really that. I like hearing about that. The modern day response. I was looking at a Korean operation, South Korean operation, where they boarded a ship that had been taken over by pirates, and you could see it's like from their ship looking at the ship, and you see them going up, and they're yelling. It's funny. It's a universal language. Yelling is a universal language because they're yelling in Korean. But you know exactly what they're saying. You know,
which is weird because like when you're yelling in Korean, in my experience, and probably yours, is like basically talking in Korea. Like all the women would just yell. It sounded like they were just yelling at each other, but they were having like a decent conversation.
Have a decent conversation. What would you like to do tonight?
Yeah.
But in Korean.
Yeah, but in totally Korean.
Yeah, man. It's wild. I mean, you think about it, the ocean's covered in 70% water, and there's a lot of disputed areas and stuff. A lot of Wild West areas out there. People going all around. But,
so I mean, hats off to the Coast Guard. Right?
Yeah, hats off
That's
Coast Guard.
Cool.
And then those SEALs, man, on the Captain Phillips thing. You know, can I tell you about one of my favorite parts of that movie?
Sure.
Other than the entire movie. But
you like that movie? I have not seen it.
You haven't seen it?
I just know the story.
Oh, dude, such a good movie. It's great. It's great. It's great drama. It's very tense. It's very well done. You know, because it doesn't all happen at once. Like they actually try in the movie, at least. I don't know about the real story, but they try to get them once, and they have like countermeasures where it's like these like basically like fire hoses all along the ship,
cargo ship,
and they turn them all on so they can't like get a ladder up or a hook because they have these like hooks and stuff. And then the second time they actually get on there, and they try to like the crew locks themselves in these certain compartments, and then the captain's up there, and then there's the famous like, hey, look at me, I'm the captain now. But then they go on to the thing. But the last little scene is when Tom Hanks is rescued, and I think they actually got an actual Navy medic, but he's getting looked at by a Navy medic, and you could tell she's not an actress. Like she's just an action, and she's actually probably doing the real thing. Like, and he is. They probably told him like, look, he just starts breaking down because it's all over, and he's been so composed the whole time. He's been a real professional, and he's done the right thing by his crew and stuff. But now it's all over, and so he's just weeping, uncontrollably, and she's like, Captain Phillips, I need you to listen to me. Okay, look at my eyes and stuff. And then it's just a really cool acting scene because they probably did this thing where like, we're going to bring Tom Hanks in. He's just going to do what he does, and I want you to respond to him as you would a real medic and try to, treat him and stuff. So anyway, it's just it was a really cool, sweet moment.
That's what I was about to bring up. I was like, didn't they bring in someone that was like on the ship or like a real live person?
Well, that medic was. I'm not really sure.
I think
other
that's
parts.
what you're. Because I'm pretty sure you're the one that was telling me about this movie about that part. So.
Oh, okay, yeah. Then that was I really liked that particular part. It doesn't work quite as well when you get a movie like what is it, Act of Valor, and the entire movie is full of Navy SEALs who are not actors.
Terrible.
But in the little moment, there's like these moments of realism. It really kind of adds to it,
That's cool, man. I
really
totally forget. Oh, yeah, because I mean, nowadays there's a lot of like maritime security forces that are contracted to provide security for cargo ships. So like you can be paid to be like contracting. Like instead of going overseas, you go on a boat.
You go over the seas.
Yeah, you go on the seas. And I've seen videos of dudes like manning this manning just a fighting position on a boat, and like you can see on a big cargo ship, and the video is like this tiny little dinghy coming up, and there's like 3 other dudes like on the side of the ship, and they all have ARs, and they just start opening up on the boat, and the boat just like turns around.
We changed our mind. Hey, you're the captain now.
Yeah. Ooh. But yeah,
That's
man,
awesome.
that's a really cool. I've totally forgot what I was going to say. It'll come back to me.
Well, it'll come back to you after I talk about The Secret of Monkey Island, which is a video game franchise that has been around since the late 80s. I remember playing this on PC, actually on my cousin's PC, because I didn't have a PC this nice. But Secret of Monkey Island is a video game series. There's actually been 5 of them. I only played the first 2, but it's a comedy series. It's point and click. You're running around and it's like puzzles and stuff like that. You're Guybrush Threepwood. And the first game, you want to be a pirate. So you're on this island and you're trying to learn how to be a pirate. And you have to like the 3 things I think you have to like. You need to learn how to do insults during a sword fight. And how you do the insults and how you answer back and forth the insults is how good you do in the fight.
Oh, really?
You need to you need a ship and a crew or something like that, or you need to steal a treasure map or something, and there's like this one mansion.
Your mother smells like clams.
It really is. It's like, and you can either like do the good insult and lose the fight, or do the nice insult, or the bad insult and you lose, and good one you win. I'm all over the place today. But anyway, there's like a mansion where it's the designated robbing mansion. Like you have to sign up for a time to go and rob the mansion, and they have like a concierge. It's just totally ridiculous and fun.
What's this video game called?
It's called The Secret of Monkey Island. That's the first one.
The first when did this come out?
It was like early 90s when the first one came out. Before you were born, these started coming out. But then they've had other ones like there's The Curse of Monkey Island, LeChuck's Revenge, and then they go on after that. Stories from Monkey Island, I think the other one is. But really fun time. Just like if you want like the goofiest rendition, and it's point and click and it's puzzles, so you like that. I actually had to look up like the guide to help me because I don't really 1990. There you go. I was 10 years old, and you were not a gleam in your mother's eye.
I was swimming in my father's testicles.
That's true, and you and all your brothers and sisters that never were. It's very sad.
Yes.
But Secret of Monkey Island, good time. And just before anybody else says anything when it comes to the video game stuff, I have Assassin's Creed Black Flag. I have not played it. I will get to it. Just didn't get to it in time.
Lay off, will ya?
Have you played it? So I don't pass it up.
You're asking me if I played a very specific video game.
Well, you've played video games.
Yeah. I'm joking.
And then he died.
Oxygen. Okay, no, I'm okay. No, I've seen Assassin's Creed. I've only played 2 of the Assassin's Creed games. I don't like the fact that like you start off in like this simulation thing, and then all of a sudden you're in a set. Do you know which one I'm talking about?
Well, that's all of them. That's essentially the conceit of the game is that you're remembering your genetic like history or whatever. Yeah.
I wish you could just be an assassin.
Yeah.
Like,
Did you ever see the movie?
No.
Sucked.
Did it suck?
The movie sucked.
It's like the Prince of Persia movie.
It's worse.
Oh,
yeah, it's worse than that.
They stop doing that.
The Prince of Persia movie was the least entertaining. Yeah. Should we mention that? I just want to take a little minute. Amy's here now. Unfortunately, life happens. Chris is here. He's going to be.
Yeah.
We're going to bring him back in, but he's in the midst of a transition, life transition. He's moving.
So Amy's
physically,
covering down.
Amy's covering for.
So if you're wondering, like, who's
stuff.
that woman? Voice?
Where the giggle is coming from? Why do we feel weird, awkward when we talk about boobs now? And
You can't change me.
Because we didn't before, you know.
You can't change me.
But anyway, thank you, Amy,
Yes.
for doing
Yes,
for
you,
filling
Amy.
in. And
You're very welcome.
yeah.
Yeah. Hey.
Ho.
All right.
Let's go
Back
on to
to
the
the
next
nitty-gritty.
the next thing. What do you got, man?
I think it's worth just mentioning, just to kind of get the anime side. It's like One Piece.
Yeah.
So, like, One Piece
Do it,
has
man.
been
Take it away.
around forever. And I remember I used to have a bunch of One Piece graphic novels, but like just the first season.
Nice.
Yeah. Beyond that, like I was like, I don't remember. Like, I mean, just you know how animes are? They'll have like one thing and they just stretch it. And stretch it.
Animes
and
that go on for 5,
stretch it.
10, 15 years.
Yeah,
Yeah,
but just,
especially in the
one
manga
event
form.
in the anime. Like there was like I remember they like verse these clown pirates, and that's like 30 episodes of just them fighting these dudes. So like after that, I was like, oh okay, whatever. But no, One Piece, yeah, is awesome. The Captain Monkey D. Luffy is like you think of anime and you got like the core ones, or you got like Bleach, Naruto, and then One Piece is in there too. So
Yeah.
they're like staple for if
A
you
whole
wanna-
an entire generation.
Entire generation.
Yeah.
Yeah. You go to Japan, you walk down the street, and everybody's got a straw hat on.
Yeah.
That is not true. But it's like, okay.
Don't go to Japan and
It's like if
confirm
you're,
that.
you know, if you want to start someone off on like, if they've never done anime before, done anime. If you've never seen anime.
Yeah.
You've done the marijuanas.
You've done the marijuanas.
Have
the
you
devil's
done that
lettuce.
anime?
Have you done that anime? You watching that animes?
But like if you want to recommend like a nice soft one that can easily be watched and get into, it's like, it's either One Piece, Bleach, or Naruto.
Yeah.
In my opinion.
Yeah.
And on that note, let's transition to the fan question.
All right, let's do it, man.
Yeah, absolutely. So this fan question comes to us from Robert Banahan via our email. Yes, like we say every time, send us an email with your questions or comments. We love to read them, and maybe you, yes, you, can be featured on a episode of PCFM.
PCFM
Thank you.
podcast at gmail.com.
Yep,
That's the email.
PCFM podcast at gmail.com. Robert asks, how did Israel and Cameron first hear about and start working with Gameology? What was their first impression of each other? And did they have any expectations about how successful their videos would be?
Yeah.
You can start.
I chose this question not for the first part because I feel like we've answered that a lot for people, but the second part, the first impressions of each other and have any expectations about how successful the videos will be. So I'll go first. I liked you. I remember walking in, and you're there, and I'm like, one thing that I do whenever I know I'm like going to meet some new people in a new situation, I know they're veterans. That's like an instant. I think about that first. So like when I walk in, no matter what, I'm like, this guy's a fellow veteran. Like there's that like
Hello,
instant
sir.
connection. So that helps me to like relax and just like kind of be whatever, because I know that we have like a common bond, a common like background and stuff like that. So there's at least a few things that we have that we can kind of relate to each other on. So I thought I was like, cool dude, cool.
Oh,
man.
dude.
Yeah.
I have complete opposite first
Really?
impressions. Yeah, I've never told you this, but I might as well
Whoa, this
fucking
is great.
put it all on the table. So I showed up first, right? I was waiting there and talking. No idea didn't know this was Gameology. They sent me an email when we applied. So I heard about Gameology through a company called Veterans Media Entertainment. They send
me
out.
too.
Yep. And we're both part of that. That's probably how we both heard about it, right?
Yep.
So they sent out something saying looking for door kicker types, obviously. Both based off our background. Sounds about right. We both applied. I showed up to set first. All they told me was you're going to watch video games and tell us what you think. That was about it.
Yep.
Didn't know it was Gameology. Didn't know it was a YouTube thing. Didn't know it was for TV. Just showed up. I was sitting there on the chair, and they told me, oh, yeah, the guy that's coming in is going to be Special Forces. So immediately, right off the bat, I'm like, this guy's going to try to big dick me. Immediately come in, because he's gonna be like, "Oh, you're Ranger? Well, I was Special Forces." That's immediately what I thought you were gonna. And then you came in with your shaved face and your nice woofy hair, and I was like, "Oh yeah, this guy's gonna try to big fucking dick me." And then, so like, before you tried to big dick me, I big dicked you.
I didn't even notice the big D.
I was like,
I didn't even see the big
my
D.
My first impression, I was like, oh my God, this guy's actually way nicer. He's like very soft spoken. And I was like, he's just very humble. I was like, he doesn't want to like, act like he's better. I'm like, he knows thinks he's better than me. I was like, I know he thinks he knows he's better than me. And and then that was pretty much it. It turned out to be an awesome day. I was like, cool. For some reason, did you ride a motorcycle?
No.
For some reason, I don't know why, I thought you rode in on a motorcycle.
My 2009
Toyota
Yaris.
For some reason, my first picture of you is you came in on a motorcycle, and I thought you were like, yeah, I'm an actor, I'm a Green Beret. I thought you were gonna make me see. I thought you were gonna show me your IMDb,
My
and
IMDb
everything.
page, my reel,
yeah.
and stuff.
And then no,
Man,
you turned out
so
to be a
Hollywood.
super nice guy. Just because all the other coming from Tenet, where all the other veterans I worked with, they were exactly that type.
Interesting.
They're very Hollywood, like especially since there was maybe out of the 300 people we had on Tenet, like 2 or 3 were part of special operations, and I was one of the guys.
Yeah.
So I thought you were going to come in and try to big dick. But I didn't,
awesome,
and
man.
it turned out to be awesome. But
Yeah.
the second part of the question, did we expect it to be this successful? I had no idea what I was getting myself into. I had no idea. So, yeah, there's that. And then...
after we did the first one, I thought, oh, that's it. All right, cool. And I was like, I still had
I thought it was a one-time thing,
plans
too.
or whatever. Yeah, doing whatever. And then they kept calling us back. And I don't know... It's funny because the whole shift fire thing, because we got approached by them to do shift fire, and then that ended up becoming a thing. But when Sebastian, our French captain over there,
captain of the Décamology of France.
That's right, c'est Décamology of France. Le Français. But I am French now. Yep. But when he first mentioned it, he's like, "Hey, are you interested in working like with us like 5 days a week, really light stuff?"
Yeah.
He didn't like present it like, "Hey, we have a contract. We want to do a contract. You want to start your own channel." I thought it was like he wanted me to do more gameology entry
stuff.
Yeah, it was just funny how it was originally presented to me. But I'm so glad because I actually said no at first. And then when we were on that call and they talked about it, and he said the same thing he said, but then it was attached to, "Hey, we're going to do a contract thing." And you said yes. And I'm like, or he said like, "Israel, I don't think you're very interested in this." But Cameron, I'm like, no, I'm interested. I'm very interested in this, guys.
Well, you had doubts in the beginning.
I had doubts.
Yeah, you were like, I have no idea. And I mean, we had to fucking lawyer up, boy.
Yeah, I had to get a lawyer. I'm like,
I thought they were gonna straight Bob Ross us.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, steal our identities forever.
And like you're like, your ass is mine on paper. It's like, here, anything that says Cameron Fath on it's not mine. I was like, oh no, they're gonna take Kika. They're gonna take
Yeah.
So we had
all
to
the
look, but yeah, it
cutouts
turned
and
out it was super awesome.
Yeah,
and here we are today.
Thank you, Robert. Thank you, Robert Banahan, for taking us down that trip down memory lane. But all right, so now it's time for the game.
Okie dokie.
This is for you, Cameron. I came up with this game. It's called True or False.
Good for you?
Matey.
Question mark? No, man, I'm excited to play. Let's do it. I love the games when I win.
Yeah, when you do well, it's fun. But this is true or false. I'm going to give you a fact about
false.
pirate life.
Okay.
True or false. And you tell me if it's true or false. And the first one you already got, actually, which is kind of funny. But true or false, the use of an eye patch was not because pirates had lost an eye, but in order to help their eyes adjust more quickly between the bright ship upper deck and the lower below decks during sea voyages.
So you're telling me that Camp Counselor Crow actually knew what he was talking about?
His name was Camp Counselor Crow.
Well, we all had to do animal nicknames or nature nicknames. So I, of course, was Crocodile because I just finished watching Crocodile Dundee. But yeah, he was Crow. He was a little bit of a weirdo. But he knew apparently what he was talking about when it came to pirates. So I'm going to say that is true,
You
matey.
are correct. You've done well. That was your warm-up question, so I got a couple more for you. So, true or false?
Yes.
Pirates actually wore earrings to ward off seasickness.
Did you miss your deadline to renew your Medicaid coverage? You can still send your completed annual review form to Healthy Connections Medicaid. You may be assigned to another health plan, but you can ask to come back to First Choice within 60 days of renewed Medicaid eligibility. It's your family. It's your choice. First Choice is the right choice. Renew and choose us. Visit selecthealthofsc.com/renew to learn more.
Dude, I'm trying to think of something that has to do with the minerals in the metal back then, because obviously they were different. Okay. So I'm going to go ahead and say yes, that is true.
It is true, but it's not true for the way you're right in a wrong sort of way.
Okay.
According to National Geographic, sailors believe that applying pressure to the earlobe would ward off seasickness. In many cases, the pirates would accomplish this by popping an earring in. Unfortunately, though, the inner ear does affect your sense of balance. Putting earrings in your earlobes does nothing to mitigate seasickness.
So you actually have to put something in your the cartilage.
Well, it's the inner ear does have to do with seasickness because it's the motion and stuff. But doing the earlobe piercing.
So if I just shoved an earplug in, would that help? Because I get
it has more to do with your sense of balance, not anything actually getting in there.
You know why I didn't join the Navy or the Marine Corps?
Seasickness?
I get very bad seasickness. I actually do not like boats or the ocean.
I'm not. Me too.
I don't
I'm
like
actually
the
not a
ocean.
fan of either. Yeah.
I don't like not being the alpha.
Yeah, having all this
The apex
body of water around you that you have no control over.
I was like,
or
hey,
being the captain.
if humans were supposed to be in the water, we would be biologically programmed that way. We would have kind of finned hands.
We
We
could
would
breathe
be able
underwater.
to breathe underwater.
Yeah.
So I'm just like, I don't like being in an environment that I'm not the apex predator.
Right, exactly.
Yeah. So
yeah. That's good. I one of my side questions that we didn't get to was, what kind of pirate do you think you would have been? I'm like, and I would have
land
been
pirate.
a land pirate. Yes. Second question: true or false? True or false? There were no women pirates.
There were no women pirates. I'm gonna say that's. Oh. See, pop culture is really trying to paint that strong woman figure that's like making me doubt it. But I'm going to go ahead and say no. Wait. Yes. I mean, nowadays, women can do anything.
But back then.
Oh, back then. Are we talking? Is this a timed question?
Yeah, back where I'm talking the classical days. Let's
I would say
golden
no,
age.
just because of gender roles back then.
Okay.
There were the ship, and that was no place for a woman.
Okay.
So I'm going to say there were no pirate women back then.
You are wrong, and you're a misogynist. It is false.
Shit,
actually,
the truth comes out.
The truth has come out. That's the real reason. I just me too'd you, man.
Oh my goodness.
Canceled. While men have definitely dominated the world of piracy, there have been several notorious women pirates, including France's Jeanne de Clisson, England's Mary Read, and Ireland's Grace O'Malley, and Anne Bonny. As it happens, fun fact, as it happens, commanding more than 300 ships with anywhere between 20 to 40,000 men obeying her orders, the most famous pirate or the most notorious pirate of all time in history was Madame Qing Shi from China.
That's Pirates of the Caribbean.
Who is purported to be one of the most powerful pirates in history.
That's Pirates of the Caribbean.
Is she in
there
that?
was an Asian when they at World's End when they do the meeting. They're
Yeah.
like, summon the council.
Oh,
there's a
and there's a
female
lady?
Asian.
That must have been her, Madame Qing Shi.
I was gonna say, so you're telling me Pirates, the adult film from 2005, is based off a true story?
It's
That's
based off
cool.
a true story.
Okay.
It's all accurate.
Yep. Okay. Next question.
Number 3, true or false? There's no such thing as a pirate's code.
There is, but there is parlay.
Parlay?
There's a code of seafair, but I would say there is a pirate's code. That is false. There is a pirate's code.
Again, you are correct in a wrong sort of way. Now, that's not what I was referring to when I did my research, but the answer that I looked up was, while pirates are known for being a racose bunch, they did follow a strict set of rules, namely the pirate code. So there was a pirate code. While exact details of the pirate code varies from ship to ship, most included an outline for disciplinary practices and how they would divide their stolen goods. The codes also included some surprising rules of conduct. For example, in 1722, Captain Bartholomew Black Bart Roberts drafted a code that established that lights and candles are to be put out at 8 o'clock at night. For if any of the crew after the hour still remained inclined for drinking, they will do it on the open deck. In other words, no staying up past 8 p.m.
Wow.
So then a bedtime code.
Bedtime code. There is a curfew. Pirate curfew is in effect.
That's right.
Okay.
So good stuff. True. Yeah. False. It's going to get more and more every time. Pirates did actually keep parrots as pets.
I don't think parrots. I mean, pirates.
Pirate parrots.
Pirate parrots. I don't think they were indigenous to that type of landscape.
All right.
So I'm gonna say pirates did not keep parrots as pet. I feel like they would just keep whatever they could find as a pet. So I don't think how the golden retriever is or the Labrador is like the American pet. It's the American dog. But I don't think the parrot is the pirate pet.
Well, you're wrong, because it is true.
It is true?
Yeah.
Wow.
Because pirates lived on ships, keeping a large pet like a dog or a monkey would be difficult. A much more sensible and strategic option was a parrot. They were colorful, they could be taught to talk, which was always entertaining, and they fetched a good price in the bird markets in London. So they would get them exotic locales, have them, keep them for a while, and then maybe sell them off or whatever. So,
that's cool.
Yeah, cool little history. I wanted to do a little bit of history. It was just really the reason for the game. All right, last one, Cam. True or false? Yeah. Okay. Oh my gosh. Oh, yes. Pirates. Oh, shoot. I didn't write a statement. I only wrote the answer. Okay, true or false? Pirates actually did bury their treasure.
Well, it seemed like all these pirate movies are like extremely truthful because like they have all these elements. So they did bury their treasure.
Actually, this is kind of a trick answer. It's mostly false. Mostly false. Pirates burying treasure was
There's no such
rare.
thing as mostly false. If it happened, it happened.
But that doesn't mean it happened all the time.
It's okay.
Well, then you would be true then, because it did happen at least once. The only pirate known to have actually buried his treasure was William Kidd, who is believed to have buried at least some of his wealth on Gardiner's Island near Long Island before sailing to New York City. Kidd had originally commissioned as a privateer for England, but his behavior had strayed into outright piracy, and he had hoped his treasure could serve as a bargaining chip in negotiations to avoid punishment. His bid was unsuccessful, however, and Kidd was hanged as a pirate. But
has his treasure been discovered?
That I did not look up.
I would want to know that because otherwise,
Yeah.
pack your bags, matey. We're going on an expedition.
PCFM podcast is taking a hiatus. We will be back in a couple of months.
Exactly. Tune in to season 2.
Not buried treasure, but like sunken treasure. Heck yeah, we all know that's because a lot of ships full of doubloons and treasures would get lost at sea and stuff.
Exactly,
So.
man. It's still underneath there.
But that's it, man. That's all I
That's
got
it
for you. Yep.
You know, one person. That was a fun game actually.
Oh, good.
I always love a good true or false because not only was it historically educating, but I liked your pirate impression. Honestly. But I'm kind of upset because we failed to cover one of the most iconic pirate characters in pop culture. And do you know who I'm talking about?
No.
Not Captain Jack Sparrow. Not Captain Bob Barbados. Steve the Pirate from Dodgeball.
Steve the Pirate from Dodgeball.
But anyways,
I love it.
That's for another episode.
The Dodgeball episode.
Well, folks,
thank you for joining us.
That's a horn
I
in
thought
the
that's
background.
what you were going to say.
Yeah, that's angry traffic in the background. Well, folks, that's all the time we have for this episode of the Pop Culture Field Manual podcast. Thank you for listening from your cars. As always, we appreciate all the support that you guys have given us thus far with your Buy Me a Coffees, your interaction on pcfmpodcast@gmail.com, and your comments on the YouTube channel. Continue to show that love and support. It is really appreciated. If you guys want to reach out to us, as always, send us an email to pcfmpodcast@gmail.com or head on over to our Instagram page, PCFM Podcast, and interact with us there. We'd love to hear you guys' questions, hear you guys' comment and feedback. It is taken into consideration and most of the time thrown to the side.
Yes.
But
completely ignored.
If you guys want to support my streetwear brand, Kit God, you can find us on Instagram at Kit God Apparel or on our website, www.kitgodapparel.com. I'm coming out with new designs this summer. Sorry, I took a little bit of a break just because there's so much shit going on.
Everything's happening. You're doing everything right now.
Yeah, there's like 17 things that me and Israel are doing. So, Kit God will be making a handsome return, and we're going to do a restock really soon. So, stay tuned for that. Don't forget to check out Israel and I's brand new YouTube channel, Shift Fire and Exploration and Appreciation of all things military culture. Israel?
Folks, you can get a hold of me on Instagram as well, myhappyself2, myhappyself, the number 2 on Instagram. Also, I stream on Twitch, twitch.tv/myhappyself. I stream a couple days a week. It's a little weird right now at the time of your hearing of this, but yeah, usually 3 days a week. And we do all sorts of fun stuff, sci-fi, fantasy, action, adventure, a lot of military games and stuff like that. No Arma, no Squad, no Insurgency. I'm sorry, guys. I just don't do the milsim thing when it comes to games, but in real life, maybe we'll have some stories to tell soon. But
coming up. Well, folks, we hope you enjoyed this episode. Catch you on the next one. Cue music.